Hi, friends. Welcome back to another session. This session will be very interesting to know. Why? I'll tell you. So, can you see my screen which says introduction? So, this is the first thing that any recruiter will ask you, or maybe you're meeting the person for the very first time, or your client, you're representing yourself globally, internationally, or whatnot. So this first thing, when somebody asks you, introduce yourself or tell me something about you, will give you the chills, something like that, isn't it? So this is your expression when somebody asks you, introduce yourself or tell me something about you or talk about yourself, right? So with this video, you will be able to learn that how can you introduce yourself effectively, not only in front of the recruiter, but also when you are representing yourself globally, right? So you'll be able to do that, like a cakewalk. So let's get started. So first, let's understand what is self-introduction. So the self-introduction means this is the first interaction between the candidate and the interviewer. So here primarily what we are understanding is from the interview point of view, right? So when you're facing your interview for the very first time, the first question that will be encountered will be introduce yourself from the recruiter, right? So this is the first interaction you will be having between a candidate and an interviewer or a person that you're meeting for the very first time, right? It is nothing, just the introduction. That means your views about yourself, about your personality, your skills that you possess. So this is something about you, a brief note about your personality, right? So let's see what introduction is. So your introduction is or must be blend of who you are, what you do, and why do you do it, right? If you could answer these three questions, you can make your introduction really effective. If you are missing any of the points out of three, then there is something that is needed to be added in your introduction. So let's see how your tone should be when you are talking or when you are introducing yourself, maybe physically over any medium. So how do you need to understand is your tone should be articulative, right? It must have articulations. Your tone must sound confident and prepared. So this is the preparation that you do before you appear and present your introduction. So let's see the selling point of yours when you are introducing yourself in front of the recruiter. You would be talking about your current designation if you are an experienced person. If not, if you are a fresher, you will talk about your skills. So here I'm considering if you're an experienced, you will be talking about your current designation, total number of experience you have, your education qualifications, your areas of specializations, your skills that you possess. You need to make an effective eye contact, a good smile on your face. We all know that a smile can really bring a lot of happiness. So yes, to maintain the positivity of the event, we are required to maintain a healthy smile on our face. We must sound confident. If you are not confident about your introduction, the second person will not show that interest in you. So it is very important that we are confident about the information we are exchanging with the second person. Mirror the body language around you. So yes, if it is a physical introduction, you are dealing a person physically or face to face. So that ways you have to maintain your body language. It's not going too lethargic, or maybe it's not too loud, it's not in move. So you're constant but yet effective. So that's how we need to understand our body language. You have to mirror your speed with the interviewer's pace, right? It's not like a recruiter is not interested listening to you, still going ahead, or maybe he is intended to listen something else from you, but you are giving something which is not even relevant to his expectations. So this is what we need to really understand when we are delivering the introduction. Your voice should be loud and clear. Yes, it's very, very important that your voice should be very loud and clear. Not very loud means you're not shouting, but it should be loud enough that it's audible and it's crystal clear, audible to the person who is listening to you. Now let's see how to start your introduction. You always start your introduction by saying greetings. Hey, good morning, sir. Hi, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Hi, good morning. How are you? I hope all good. Thanks for asking. And then you move ahead. So to make your introduction creative, you can add a good punchline for yourself. For example, you can say, I connect people globally. Hi, my name is so-and-so. Good morning. Hi, good morning. My name is so-and-so. I connect people globally. So now this is a good punchline that you give to yourself to make your introduction creative. Now the person will be eager to understand that how do you connect people globally, right? Now, if your recruiter has already mentioned your name, then avoid using your name to start your introduction once again. So for example, if you are sitting in front of the recruiter and recruiter has already said, hey, John, please introduce yourself. And then John again saying, hi, my name is John, and so on. So that doesn't leave the right impression. That shows that you don't have effective listening skills because he already know your name. This is a very small tip, but it's very effective. So if you think that the second person has already initiated your name, so it is always that you never mention your name again. Your interviewer is not interested in knowing your family, so avoid sharing too much of information about that. Right? Your introduction means something about you, right? Unless it is asked about your family, extended family, it is avoided not to share about your family details in much or in detail, right? It unnecessarily kills times and the second person will not take that interest. So I suggest never share too much of family details, share more of skills that you possess in. Talk about your education details, which is very, very mandatory. If you're going for the interview process, then yes, you need to talk about your education and its detail. From where did you do it, in which year you did it. Although it's mentioned on your resume or on your CV, but still it's very, very necessary that from which college or from which university you have completed, in which year you did it, and what was the percentile you achieved, and what was your domain. Include your technical skills, projects, relevant workshops, certifications, and achievements that will again give you the right impression when you talk about more of your technical skills, your projects, your relevant workshops, your trainings and certifications and achievement. For example, you have recognized somewhere, maybe worldwide, globally, internationally, government. So this actually add on value to your skill set. So yes, it's always good to include those achievements during your introduction. Let's you need to keep your introduction not more than 30 to 50 seconds. After this, your recruiter will lose interest in you. So let's keep it short, crisp, and clear, not more than 50 seconds. Now, there are some points that you need to ignore. So what will you ignore? You will not learn your introduction by heart, right? Because ultimately we are not the robots, right? we are human beings, so it's always suggested that we need to give our introduction as if we are explaining ourselves in detail. We are talking to a person, generally talking or explaining about what I like, what I don't like, what are my education details, and so on. So learning your introduction means you're not confident about you, and if you're not confident about you, then how will you represent my company worldwide? Right. So this is very, very important point, that you need not to learn your introduction. Just go with the flow like a normal person do. Avoid starting introduction using myself. Now, 80% people, they do this mistake, they commit this mistake. They start their introduction by using myself, which is a big no. When you're starting your introductions should or must start with your name. Hi, my name is so and so. That's a good idea. Do it, and rather than explaining yourself by starting myself so and so. Myself is never used, right? So avoid using that. Avoid mumbling, fumbling. This is something which I preferably say no while you are introducing yourself. This unnecessarily ruins your introduction, right? And it also lets the person know that you're really not very, very comfortable and confident about expressing yourself. So it's a good idea not to fumble, mumble, and insinuate a lot of times. Avoid using fillers. Yes, fillers means there is nothing to speak about. That's the reason we use a lot of fillers, saying, yeah, like. So these are the fillers which we need to avoid while we are introducing ourselves. Don't fold your hands or your arms, or maybe if you are facing any face-to-face introduction. So it's always recommended that do not fold your hands and speak. That might give you a comfortable zone, but will not give you a comfortable or a perfect body language, right? The person might feel that you are really not confident or not open for the discussion. So please avoid doing that. Avoid sharing too much of information. So yes, so only the information which is relevant to the profile, that information is more than sufficient for you to express in front of your recruiter, right? Too many information will confuse the person, and the person might skip the necessary or the important information that ways. Don't exaggerate yourself, which is very important. I do understand when we are facing the interview process in front of the recruiter, we tend to express a lot of things about ourselves, but it is good to express yourself, because ultimately introduction means selling yourself effectively, but that doesn't mean we over exaggerate about ourselves, which we even don't mean to be, right? So this is something we need to keep these things in mind. So I hope this session brought a lot of information to you, and you will practice your introduction. You will learn them simultaneously, and you will do better. So for such creative things, you can wait for the next session of mine. We'll be meeting in the next session. Till then, please take care of yourself. Bye.